Khloe Kardashian is determined to remain supportive of Scott Disick, even though Kourtney has moved on. Hi, before we continue, please subscribe to the channel for all Kardashians news and update. Khloe Kardashian and Scott Disick have always shared a very close friendship that has lasted for many years, and that friendship is still strong today. While some people watching their reality shows believe that the way they interact might be for attention or to make the show more entertaining, people close to them know that what they have is real and not just for the cameras. A source who knows them well recently shared that their bond is deep and honest, no matter what others think, and it doesn't matter to Khloe if her older sister Kourtney Kardashian has moved on from Scott. Scott has been part of Khloe's life since she was in her early 20s, and she sees him as part of her family. According to someone close to the situation, Scott has always treated Khloe like a sister and has been very protective of her over the years. That relationship has stayed strong even as other things in their lives have changed. Scott, who is from New York and is now 41 years old, has been there for Khloe, especially during some of the most difficult times in her life. When she was going through a painful divorce with Lamar Odom or facing public troubles with her former boyfriend Tristan Thompson, Scott was always there to offer her support. He didn't disappear when things got hard for her. Instead, he did everything he could to help her through those dark times. When Khloe was dealing with the problems in her relationship with Tristan, who was caught being unfaithful, Scott stayed by her side and gave her comfort and support. He did the same thing when she was dealing with the pain from her marriage to Lamar falling apart. Because of this, Khloe feels a deep loyalty to Scott and believes that he has always had her back. She does not feel it would be right to stop talking to him or push him away just because her sister Kourtney has moved on in her life. She still sees Scott as part of her world, and she does not plan to change that. Khloe is not trying to create problems between herself and Kourtney. She is not speaking badly about her sister or telling Scott any secrets about Kourtney. At least, that's what she says. But the source said that Kourtney doesn't feel entirely comfortable about how close Khloe and Scott still are. Kourtney thinks there might be more being said behind her back, and it makes her feel uneasy. When Khloe chose Scott as the first guest on her new podcast, instead of inviting Kourtney, it really made Kourtney feel left out. That one decision seemed to show how Khloe feels about Scott and how important he still is in her life. The source added that Khloe doesn't seem to understand how Kourtney feels about the situation. Whenever the topic of her friendship with Scott comes up, she becomes very defensive. She doesn't think she's doing anything wrong and wants to protect her bond with Scott, even if it upsets her sister. Kourtney and Scott were in a relationship for 9 years before they broke up in 2015. During their time together, they had 3 children: Mason, who is now 15, Penelope, who is 12, and Rain, who is 10. Even though their romantic relationship ended, they have continued to co-parent their children together. After their breakup, Kourtney found love again with Travis Barker, the drummer for the band Blink-182. Kourtney and Travis were close friends for a long time before they started dating in early 2021. Their relationship moved quickly, and they got married in a civil ceremony in Santa Barbara, California, on May 15, 2022. A week later, they held a much larger wedding in Portofino, Italy, on May 22, 2022. Their love story continued when they welcomed a baby boy named Rocky 13 on November 1, 2023. Even though Kourtney has started a new chapter in her life, the friendship between Khloe and Scott has not faded. In fact, it's still strong enough that Khloe decided to have Scott as the first guest on her podcast called Khloe in Wonderland, which launched on January 8. During the episode, they talked openly about the long-standing rumors that there might be something romantic between them. This kind of talk has been going on for years, and even Scott's late parents, Bonnie and Jeffrey Disick, once asked him if the rumors were true. Scott joked that his father used to ask him if he had gotten Khloe pregnant. Scott would joke back and say yes, just to play along, even though it wasn't true. Khloe made sure to step in and tell listeners that Scott was joking and that he never got her pregnant. She wanted to make it clear so that people didn't take his jokes the wrong way. During the podcast, She also shared that fans really wanted to hear a conversation between her and Scott. She had done a poll asking people who they wanted to hear from on her show, and Scott was the most requested guest. She said that the two biggest questions people kept asking were whether she and Scott had ever been more than friends and why they weren't married. When those questions came up on the podcast, Scott playfully shouted a big yes when asked if they had ever hooked up, but Khloé quickly said no. She wanted to be clear that nothing like that ever happened between them. Scott then became serious and said he thought it was strange that people actually believed there was something romantic between him and Khloé. He reminded people that he has children with her sister, Kourtney, and that it would never make sense for him to be with Khloé in that way. He also explained that even though he often says wild and sometimes inappropriate things, he's not being serious most of the time. That's just the way he is, and he likes to joke around a lot. Khloé agreed and said that if they really had been a couple, people would be so upset and criticize them harshly. She said people would think it was wrong and even disgusting. Despite all the gossip and jokes, Khloé and Scott have always kept their relationship friendly and respectful. They seem to understand each other deeply and share a strong bond that comes from many years of being there for one another. It's a connection that grew out of real care and loyalty, not romance. Khloé values that kind of relationship and is not going to let it go just because things have changed between Kourtney and Scott. Khloé has always been someone who believes in staying loyal to the people who have shown her support and kindness. Scott has proven himself to her during times when she needed someone the most. For her, that means more than anything else. Their closeness may confuse people or make others suspicious, but for Khloé, it's about having someone who has stood by her through thick and thin. She doesn't want to lose that kind of trust and friendship just to make other people feel more comfortable. Even though Kourtney may have her own feelings about the whole situation, Khloé doesn't want to let go of someone who has always looked out for her. She believes in keeping strong relationships with people who have been good to her. That's why she continues to include Scott in her life, even if it creates tension with her sister. Scott, too, seems to value his friendship with Khloé. He enjoys being around her, and they both know each other so well that they can joke and talk freely without getting upset. Their relationship is based on mutual care, shared history, and deep trust. For now, they continue to be close, ignoring the whispers and rumors that often follow them. As for Kourtney, she is now building her own happy life with Travis and their new baby. While it's clear that she may not be completely at ease with how close her sister still is to her former partner, she is also focusing on her own family and future. Life has changed for all three of them, but the past is still present in many ways. And in the middle of it all, Khloé is choosing to stay true to someone who has always stood by her side. Thanks for watching. Please do well to share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more Kardashian updates.